Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Before we get started, I'd like to call upon our Honorable Mayor, Valentino Taiscan Jr., to say a few opening remarks. Mayor.
Thank you, Mark. Hello, half a day, and good afternoon. Welcome to the Northern Ireland Mayor's Office, Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities, also known as BRIC Grant presentation. As mentioned during our last town hall meeting, this was a grant that we applied for and got awarded. During our last town hall, we presented our challenges, such as lack of data and infrastructure in the Northern Islands. I would like to thank Ms. Elizabeth Balhaja and her hardworking team and staff of the Hazard Mitigation Office for the continued support and guidance offered to my office, the Northern Ireland Mayor's Office. I would also like to extend our appreciation to our Honorable Governor Arnold Palacios, our Honorable Lieutenant Governor David Apatang, and Special Assistant to the Administration Oscar Babauta for allowing us to utilize the multipurpose. Also to Tomas Manglonia from Marianas Press for going live and bringing this presentation to folks that are not able to be with us today. At this time, I would like to call upon my Special Assistant, Mr. Mark Rubalman, to do the presentation.
Clapping is free. Thank you, Mayor. Folks, this is going to be an informal type of presentation. It's basically one of the ideas that the mayor has continuously to push forward is to be more transparent and informative to the Northern Ireland's delegates. And like the mayor had mentioned, this really without the good folks over at the Hazard Mitigation Office. For that, we are very grateful for your presence and always grateful for your guidance. So part of the grant requirements is community outreach, such as these, and also community engagement. And one of the key project objectives for the mayor's office is to generate basically an official blueprint, if I may say so, or a design that meets federal building guidelines, which will enable, of course, our honorable mayor to seek future fundings, most specifically construction. And with these official documentation or proper documentation, hopefully it'll make his task even easier. The focus of this scoping project is to conduct a feasibility and cost scoping to support future development of a typhoon-safe route that will protect residents and visitors in the Northern Islands from severe storms. The implementation of a safe house for the mitigation activity will involve several steps. The general outline of the process is alternative analysis and site selection, which is a thorough assessment of potential sites that needs to be conducted to identify the most suitable location for the safe house. In addition to environmental assessment, factors such as proximity to vulnerable areas, accessibility, elevation, and construction feasibility will be considered. The most important part of this that we hope to get out of this, of course, is the conceptual designs. Once the site is selected, architectural and engineering plans will be developed for the safe house. These plans will include recommendations from the most current edition of FEMA P361's guidance for the design and construction of a community safe house, which also provides near absolute protection, which with the lack of infrastructure out there in the north, this is a very key part of it. With NEAR, of course, nothing is ever guaranteed, but with these in place, it's a little bit more safer. Additional consideration for the building structures are ventilation systems, emergency exits, and communication systems will be assessed. Permitting and approvals, which is the documentation to support the future site development, includes development of the necessary permits and approvals from relevant authorities such as our local government bodies or building departments is part of the deliverable of the scoping project. The needs assessment and alternative analysis is the gathering of information on the specific needs of the community or target population that the safe house will serve. This may involve research, interviews, or community meetings such as these, or even these presentations, and the identified site location that will be identified from all these professionals will be the preferred location of the Northern Islands Mayor's Office, as it already been in the designated area. But additional alternatives may be assessed should other feasible sites be identified during the needs assessment. The facility design is the planning and conceptual designs for the physical space for the safe house and would adhere to the most current publication, what I had mentioned earlier, the FEMA B361, which contains detailed guidance for the design and construction of the community safe house. The end result of the safe house blueprint would best serve the mayor in the budget and funding plan, which will assist in developing a detailed budget for the project, including benefit cost analysis of construction costs, operating and maintenance expenses, including recommended support systems such as backup power, communications, and water services, necessary supplies, and community outreach to ensure facility use and potential sources of funding. The compliance, of course, ensuring that the design of the proposed safe house complies with all relevant laws, regulations, and licensing requirements of the CNMI. I just want to reiterate, for those that might be interested, to look it up, is the FEMA B361. Again, FEMA B361. It contains the detailed guidance for the design and construction of the community safe house rooms, which also provide near absolute protection, which the contractor will be guided accordingly. Before I close, I would like to thank you all for being in attendance and to thank the mayor for his forward-thinking and tireless work in finding ways through grants to push progress for the North. Again, this is one of the building blocks to achieving his goals. And I want to reiterate, or I want to repeat, that the scoping project is focused on the blueprint, or in this case, the design of the office of the mayor's building for the people's use, and what the team hopes a blueprint for all the active islands under his jurisdiction. All of my answers this month. Now we're ready for any question and answers. I forgot if I mentioned that on the top of our presentation. It's going to be short and sweet, but this is one of a couple more that the mayor has planned to again continue to get the word out while we're going through all the necessary, or while we're hashing out the details and the necessary requirements to continue and push this grant forward. Thank you. Questions? Yes, Congresswoman. So This hazard mitigation grant was basically an 80-20. We needed to be able to put in our share. So the mayor for that portion is looking at either the Saipan Northern Islands legislative delegation or through, of course, might consider tapping into the CIP program. So those are the two funding sources that the mayor's exploring to assist us in meeting our match. That's a very good question, and hope when you see our requests, help it along. We thank you in advance.
Sorry, scoping?
Correct. So, like one of the necessary things, or the lack of, with regards to the Northern Ireland Mayor's office, is the proper documentations that will assist him enabling him to get additional funding, such as construction. So with this design work, an official design work, will really help push the agenda forward. Because now there's something that can be provided, to show the design, and this is what it entails in terms of the details and the cost associated with that design. With regards to the scoping, of course, we'll be going through the procurement process, with regard with RFP to the public at large.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional thoughts, ideas? Doesn't have to be a question. If you have suggestions, but I just want to mention that this is at the very early phase of it. I'm sure as we progress forward, we're always available. You can call the mayor's office at 664-6471 just to inquire as to what's the status, and if you have if an idea comes to mind later on down the road, we're always open to it, but it is something that we'll put into the pipeline, but it does really have to fall within the scope of the grant requirements.
Sorry. Are you planning into tapping into NPLT for the 50,000?
Now we're planning, thank you.
That's our money.
I think one of the things, Congresswoman, that with regards to the processes, sometimes because of the constraint on the timeline, the mayor is really looking at kind of less resistant pathways, or a little bit easier. But MPLT, maybe that is something that the mayor and his team will get together and explore that avenue. We've never done so, but thank you for that recommendation. I said it's going to be short and sweet, but we're always open for any questions, or we're still open for questions. Always repeatable? Yes.
Hi. How long is the project for? This project, what is the timeline?
So this project, we used up the maximum that was allowable, which was for 36 months. That equals to, I don't know, do the math. 2 years. Sorry. 2 years. 3 years. Wow. Well, and one of the reasons that we had kind of gone down this road is accessing the north is really wholly based on the water conditions. So we need as much time as we can to be able to kind of schedule accordingly. But unless someone here is a magician, we really have no control over the weather. So that's why I think it was it was imperative, and again, for the hazard mitigation office, with their guidance, we were able to kind of maximize the full allowable time.
And this is only for Pagan, the scoping?
Yes, because it is cost prohibitive. So we have to just kind of focus on one island. And one of the things that the mayor always hopes that comes out of this is that it'll be something that can be adaptable to the other jurisdiction, the municipalities that are under our honorable mayor. So I guess this is just one starting point to be able to hopefully duplicate it for the other islands. But that in itself is going to be another task at hand, and things that the mayor will have to deal with.
Yes.
What made you choose the island of Pagan? I'm not sure how.
So for the island of Pagan, I think one of the things that, because right now the mayor is working with the Department of Public Lands, the island of Pagan is, as it stands, is the only part of the municipality that has been designated for the office of the mayor. So it made it more easier in terms of when we're applying for the grant to provide the necessary supporting documents. With that, if there's no more questions or ideas, I'd like to turn it over to our honorable mayor for his closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Just like how Mark stated, it's short and sweet, but I would like to thank you all for coming out today. If you guys have any thoughts or any other ideas, feel free to contact our office at 664-6471. At the same time, last week I met with United States Geological Survey, Dr. John Lyons, and they will be doing a presentation tomorrow, 5:30, over at the American Memorial Park Visitor Center. So that's tomorrow. Thank you. Mlala Budkan Kalo of Telaros, Bukenos.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.